Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. I am back in the push for the sponsored series once more. This is episode 7. Now, please note that between episode 6 and episode 7 is a total of 4 days. And in those 4 days, I haven't played much of Eve. Now, the reality of it is, I was actually really sick in the form of a full out allergic reaction. Now, that ended up rendering me uh, in bed for 2 whole days. So I'm sorry if it seems like there's a non-consistency with things, and as you can see, I'm collecting my claiming rewards right now. Now I did log in day by day to collect the other rewards, and you will notice that I have collected them. But as I'm saying, you might notice that there's a slight discrepancy between time on the videos, and there might be a difference in my voice. Okay. So this is exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be going out and I'm going to be farming up missions again as per my regular. Now I completed Bear Hair Day the last time I was here, and you saw that there was a big finale finish for me, basically taking on that last big wave in Bear Hair Day. Now I'm going to go through and look for another mission that they would unlock something. Let's see what it goes to. Business Magnate. I haven't found any of the big missions as yet, which is what I'm really worried about. I want those massive missions, the 20 mil and 80 mil missions. So not 80 mil, 20 and 30 mil missions, whichever way they are right now. But I haven't seen any of them. They just aren't pitching up. I haven't seen one since since the update, to be honest, and it's extremely worrying, to be honest, because that means there's a strong chance that I won't get to play those missions again. So I'm just going to accept this one. Then I'm going to go in, set my ship. Obviously, I'm in Jita Station. It's where I've been sitting and hiding out for quite some time right now. And there might be some interesting activity coming up. Now, you all do know about the series that's going to be with Randy, but I'm planning a second series, which might be with other content creators. Depends on whether or not I actually get any flow on that particular series. So, you're going to have that to look out for when it comes to content on my channel in the next few days. Obviously, this will continue on for an addition of 3 days after this video to reach episode 10. I can see my bed hair day is almost complete. So here's the rundown on exactly what's going on, right? So I'm going to be making a series called the Takedown series. Now the Takedown series is basically me going out with the biggest, baddest ships and showing how easy it is to use them for takedown vessels. Now a takedown vessel is basically a vessel that's going to tackle you or disrupt you or break you when it comes to a hit. So obviously the best option for the takedown series will be the sorry, I'm getting a bit confused and lost with words. The best option for the takedown series will be so I'm making a mistake here, will be faction ships. Now I have made multiple build videos on faction ships. However, takedown versions of the ships are very different from the versions that I normally make. Remember, my versions normally revolve around PvE. Now you might see some similarities between PvE and PvP, but the biggest difference will be when you see things like mid slot changes, you're going to see there's not going to be much of that web of fires in the mid slot or disruptors, but odd weapons. Now, a takedown fleet is basically built together with other ships. They are never meant to be functioning 1v1. They're meant to function in large groups, and I'm actually intending to have somebody else help me with it because large vessels and large groups like them have their own dynamics. They're not as easy as one, two, three, and there we go, everything is done. They're a bit complex. There's one or two things that have to be done in those missions for you to actually have a comparable completion to your mission. Now, let me just do one thing before I continue. I want to make sure that no messages come through. Now, I am still in that same fleet. We haven't disbanded the fleet because we play together a lot. I don't mind taking out the Blackbird. I don't really know. Yeah, now there's something else. Settings, something that you can always forget when it comes to these battles. Now, I know that I had a nice, spectacular run in the middle of the series with the whole Bad Hair Day, but obviously the series is going to die down a little bit. You can't do a Bad Hair Day every day. So obviously the heavy course of that mission, the long time that it took, that is just one aspect of it. Overall, we did a Bad Hair Day with a 3-man fleet in less than 1 hour 45 minutes, which is really a massive improvement because Bad Hair Day is one of the bigger, more difficult missions to complete. And if you can do it in less than an hour, it means that you are improving your capability within the game. So obviously, with that being added, I'm just going to make sure that I'm locking onto it manually. With that being added is one of the possibilities for me in the future if I continue on with my content and continue to push up on those videos. I might find a way to be able to complete those Bad Hair Days in 45 minutes. Now, the reason why it took 1 hour 30 minutes was we were doing things on the side, we were breaking from the game, we were doing other activities. But if we were all 100% focused on that Bad Hair Day and we all had the right ships, we most probably could have completed that Bad Hair Day in 40 minutes, as I'm saying. The 1 hour 30 minutes was purely for the fact that we had to take a break to move from system to system. If we had all three of us running Bad Hair Days, simultaneously jumping from system to system, doing our scans, meeting up, doing the final waves in each of our sectors, the fighting actually took 20 minutes on wave one. So if you count that with 3 people, that's 1 hour to complete wave one. It took about 45 minutes to do wave two, which is part two of the Bad Hair Day. So that's 65 minutes, and the rest is all travel time. That's 25 minutes of travel time. And if you put all of that together just to complete the Bad Hair Day, that isn't too bad. That's a good show of power. It's good enough that it can actually reflect a proper play style, and it's not like the ships are outside of reach. It's actually going to be as simple as me purchasing a Naga, which, if you are looking at my current balance, is well within reach. Let me just look at something. This is something I always do before I purchase a ship. I open my character information and I look at the amount of time I have left till my next Omega. Now, as you can see, I have 32 days. Now, with 32 days to my next basic Omega, that means I don't really have to worry about purchasing another Omega. All I have got to do is actually go into my purchase right now, buy my Naga, and by the time I reach day 15, I have to be back up to 500 mil. And yes, it isn't the easiest thing to just climb up to 500 mil, but there we go. I'm gonna get my Naga. Actually, let me get my Naga right now. So yes, you might see the next video with a Naga instead of my Drake. Now that doesn't mean the Drake isn't going to be used anymore. You might see it up in nullsec after this when I go up and participate in 1 or 2 battles. So where is it? Naga, Naga, Naga. Let's see what its current price is. Oh my, it's a bit expensive. Let's see what the orders are. Now, the Naga isn't really that expensive. It's just that the current demand for the chip due to its high performance has really pushed up its value. Now, the Naga's actual value is somewhere near 220 million. That's with about 100% production rate and a good roll on your gear. Now, obviously, there might be other ways for me to get a Naga cheaper. If I collaborate with a certain group of players, I might get it a lot cheaper than the current figure that I have. But I will see. I'm going to see over a few days whether or not I can get it at a cheaper rate. If I can get it at a cheaper rate, that's all the better for me. This one will go down. Let's hit him with that and let's focus fire. Now, obviously, the next one that it's going to turn to is obviously going to be that Blackbird. The Blackbird is right outside of the regular range of my weapon. Let's see. Yeah. Now, because of the guidance disruptor, my range does collapse a lot. It's not just a small collapse in range, it's a massive collapse in range for my weapon. It goes from 43 down to 40, and the closer he gets, the worse it gets. Let me just show you. Actually, I think there's minimum distance. Yeah, it's still closing in a little bit more. So as he gets closer, that fall off starts to drop, and then I think once he gets into 20Ks, he drops me completely to the maximum. Now, a lot of people have commented and been asking me across Discord why I don't use torpedoes on this particular vessel. Well, this is the reason. With these guidance disruptors, if they hit me on something like a torpedo and there's more than one of them in the fleet, my range will go from something like 13Ks to 10Ks to 8Ks to 3Ks. And at 3Ks, it becomes very, very difficult to actually keep your target locked because your target will start to drift out from your combat range. And that's when you end up with other problems on top of trying to take out the next ship. Because that's when you end up having to fight a harder battle than you normally would. Okay, let me just do that. Now, the reason why I activate them all the time is it always helps with recharging my capacitor. This cap battery does a big amount of cap at one big blast. That's extending my cap by quite a bit. Let me just show you quickly. As you can see, additional cap upon activation is 1093 gigajoules. If you look at my ship, let me just go quickly into this. Wait. I don't really have to worry about this fight. I know my ship can take everything else in this wave. And let's see where my cap sits. I'll just open this. And let's see where my cap is. 2363 gigajoules. That's an additional 1000 added to this ship's cap. And with that, it makes this here a massive powerhouse. Obviously, this is the default. There's the added from my research into engineering. That's definitely making a big difference to this fight. Right now, I have the full 43Ks. I will hit him eventually. There you go. Now, as you can see, the way that I play in these particular fights isn't really the strongest format of play, but it is really effective for me as a player. I can really get into my gameplay, have a nice feel for the PvE. Now, as you know, the rules of the series, I can't really complain about anything in the game, which is one thing that I can't do for the series. It's part of the standard, the request. Now, if you do want to go at it and try and farm up as many of these missions as you can, here is something to know as the trick, right? You open your menu for your missions, you open the complete list. Now, there's two things that you do, and this is something you can do every time. You look for missions that are in the same sector that you are in, and you just say accept. You look for missions that are close by, and you can accept them as well, 1 or 2 jumps. Right? Don't go anything above 3 or 4 jumps because then it's going to start to spread you out too far. And you wait for this timer to drop to 0. Now, once it reaches 0, what it's going to allow you to do is jump into the next activity. Right now, I'm going through this here extremely slow. It's just the standard norm for the ship. The weapon fire time on these missiles isn't really the fastest. Let me just show you. Activation time is 12 seconds. Reload time is 10 seconds. So every 12 seconds, I'm actually taking off a volley. So it's not really fast enough to actually destroy a ship in an instant. Now, I could do other things to actually tank massive missions like Bearhead. I could go and jump into a MOA 2 Guardian. A MOA 2 Guardian. And that will allow me to take on my MOA 2 Guardian format against missions and encounters. It's also way more stable than a lot of the other ships you can use. However, the catch with it is very expensive to run the ship with the maximum amount of fittings. Now, you're going to see that some of the fittings that are going to come up in the series where I have other content creators with me are going to be a bit elaborate. Now, the reason for that is when you add something like group capacitor, group shield field, uh, group capacitor, shield field modules, armor link modules, um, group shield repair, group armor repair. They become very expensive to run, and this is something which can be very dangerous. You only activate it when it's absolutely necessary for it to be active. So if you are taking it into a mission like Berhede, when you are in range of the combat and you still have capacitor, you don't activate those modules. Oh, I didn't have my hardener on. Whew, this mission is taking quite some time. I'm actually enjoying it a little bit more than I normally would. As I said, I haven't been on the game for a few days. Actually, I'm gonna try and talk a little bit less right now. My chest is extremely sore. It's literally as sore as it can be. Talking for too long right now is just gonna puff me out quite fast. So I'm gonna try and calm it down a little bit and just mellow out a little bit in this video. So as soon as this one here is over, I will cut the video. Then the next one will be another rehash of a mission. It won't be any of these small missions. I don't feel like it's appropriate to finish off the last two episodes with anything smaller than a 20 mil mission. So I am actually hunting for a 20 mil mission, and I don't know if I have said this before, but it's been more than 8 days since the last time I've seen a 20 mil mission. I don't know if it's still in the game. If they aren't in the game, well, actually, the 30 mil missions, if they aren't in the game anymore, well, that's gonna be difficult to try and figure out. But I hope that I do get one of those big missions to finish up the series. Hmm. And there goes the interruption into my weapon systems. As soon as he goes down, then I'm free to kill all of the other ships. Not going to be quite difficult after this. One hit, and he is out. No, looks like it's gonna cost me 2 hits. So yeah, quite easy way to progress through. There was something I wanted to show on the settings. I can actually webcam stream with this particular video app, and I haven't ever tried it before, but I do know that I can because I was looking through the settings and it is a possibility. It's just that I'm not allowed to live stream on YouTube as yet. So once I reach a certain level, obviously, then I'll be able to live stream on YouTube. And I do want to make my first ever live stream on YouTube at the moment, but unfortunately, due to having less than 1,000 subs, I believe I'm not allowed to, because the live streams have the ability to actually take in live donations. So since I can't do that at the moment, I don't think I'm allowed to live stream. I'm not 100% sure. It might be that it's just the phone capability is limited, but we will see how it goes at a later date. Now, I am planning a few other videos as well in this time. Obviously, I can't just keep going with collaborations and big series, and there's a ton of things going on in the game which I haven't covered in news. So I am going to give you a little bit of a news update. I really like doing war rooms, and war rooms on taking down of doctrines, war rooms on updating doctrines, war room on, there's so many things I've spoken about. And I'm actually going to try and build another doctrine on top of the doctrine that I currently have spoken about previously. I'm actually going to try and work on a doctrine for uh, battleships. So it's going to be a large, expensive doctrine. We'll see how it works out. Now, obviously, it's not going to be implemented by any corps. It's just going to be a theoretical doctrine because the battleship doctrines are so expensive. Running them in fleets would mean that the person who's running the risk with that ship would literally cost a corp a day or two worth of income. Now, yes, I know there's some people who might be lucky enough to make that income a day. If it is what you're making, then it's your luck. You're somehow managing to keep up with heavier times. So well done on that. But in general, most players are not making that massive ISK anymore in the game. Now, why aren't I closing in? Okay, I should have been closing in on this here a lot faster. This is the last wave. Come on, blow up more. Okay, yeah, the MOA does have extra shield compared to a lot of other ships. So that is something I should have expected. However, its armor isn't as big as other ships, so I should expect it to disappear with the next hit. And it should go into some of the hull as well. Oh, I took one from the Caracal. The Caracal, I should expect 4 hits to take it out totally, just like the MOA. But most of its shield will be gone, unlike that small amount that came off the MOA in the start. And let's see if it goes. Yep. Oh, okay. So its complete shield is 4,000 points. Okay, weaker setup than I expected. And there we go. All the armor plus some of the hull. So it was a 3-hit takeout for that Caracal. Okay, quite easy, nicely done. And there I go. Mission complete. Okay, thank you all for watching. I will bring you back for the next one. Have a good day.